no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching this Raiders Mailbag, which was filmed on Tuesday. Join us for all of our live shows, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, always on Tuesdays. Blake Riley, okay, this is a fun and interesting question. Thoughts on signing Cam Newton since you want the Raiders to cut Mariota and Peterman is a free agent? Yes, I do want Mariota to get cut. The idea of going out and signing Cam Newton to make him a Taysom Hill type role, I mean, I think this is kind of interesting, and the reason why I would do it is because if you could pay Cam Newton the contract that he made this year, which was a base salary of $1.75 million and incentives up to $7 million, I mean, we gave Mariota $9 million this year. If you're already willing to invest that type of money into a quarterback, I'll tell you what, as bad as of a thrower as Newton was, he can still run the football, and I would take Cam Newton at like $1.75 million instead of having a guy like Mariota at $10 million or Nathan Peterman, who we paid $2.1 million this year. Bring in Cam because he's not going to be a starter anymore in the National Football League, and when I really get asked about Mariota the most, it's how can we make him into Taysom Hill? The only quarterback that I think I would be willing to make into a Taysom Hill type role is Cam Newton, but it's got to be at that right price. So sign Newton to play in a Taysom Hill type role. What do you guys think? Is a fun, interesting idea. He's not taking Derek Carr's job. It is DC's job in 2021. The sooner y'all get that through your head, the easier this show is going to be the entire offseason. But bring in Newton, $1.75 million to play Taysom Hill type role. Y for yes or N for no. All right, we got a super chat coming in from the nasty Shitler. If Phillip Rivers decides he wants to go, but the Colts want to move on, do you give him a go and trade Carr? What type of contract would you consider? I'm not going to trade for Phillip Rivers. I still think Derek Carr is the better quarterback over Rivers, and Rivers is going to want more money than DC. It's hard to find a quarterback that's top 10 in the league that's making the type of money that Carr makes. So right now, as it stands, Carr's contract, 14th most favorable in the National Football League right now. That's good. And then when you consider there's going to be more deals that are going to happen in the offseason, like Dak's going to get a bigger deal. I'm trying to think of some other names. Some names are escaping me. If Phillip comes back, he's going to make more than Derek Carr. I mean, you could legitimately see DC being the 18th, 19th highest paid quarterback coming into this offseason. That's the type of money that I want. So no on Phillip Rivers. Football is life. Do you think Gus will put Joyner at safety? The bigger question is Gus Bradley going to keep Lamarcus Joyner for this season? You can cut Lamarcus Joyner, save $8.7 million. Do I think that he's going to be moved to safety, though? You could see him being moved around a little bit more just because that's the cover 3 style of defense where you're going to play a lot of times 3 safeties back, or you're going to play somebody else that plays cornerback a little bit deeper so you don't get beat deep. And you're also going to play a little bit under safer coverage. But if Joyner's there, I anticipate they move him around a little bit more than what you've seen. However, the real question is Lamarcus Joyner going to be a member of this team? Because saving $8.7 million sounds pretty good to me. Something else that sounds good to me, giveaways, free. Who wants some free stuff? You want some free stuff? If you want some free stuff, hit me up on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365 because I've partnered with a sponsor. Horrible intro there, Mitch. So my good friends, we got a fun little giveaway going on here, and if you want to go ahead and win something, you can win 2 things. All you got to do is follow the instructions on my last Instagram post. I'm going to leave it up literally the entire week. So give me a follow on IG at Mitchell Renz 365. Go to my latest post, follow the instructions. I'm going to be picking a winner, and we're going to announce the winner on our next live show, which is going to be Tuesday. So stay tuned. All right, we got from N4RC Wolf. Chances we get rid of Carr. 0 Chucky heads. Tuck rule. Tuck that. Moises, what up, man? Ruggs needs to bulk up. He could be a beast if he wasn't so skinny. Ruggs needs to put in more work. There's no doubt about that. Needs to get off the PlayStation from what I've heard and from what I've seen. He plays video games for about 4 hours every day. Maybe he should invest some of that time into doing something else. But yes, he definitely needs to get bigger. He needs to get faster. And faster in pads. There's a big difference there, but I mean, Henry Ruggs was asked how he thought he did as a rookie. He gave himself a D-. I think we could all agree it was a D-. Let's go to Julien. What up? What are your thoughts on Kwity Paye out of Michigan? Love him. Fun player, fun prospect. If you guys want to go see where Kwity Paye ranks on my list of top 10 players the Raiders drafted 17, please go check it out. He is definitely on there, though. 6'4", freak athlete, can play 4-3. And I believe 4 games this past year, 2 sacks, 16 tackles. But If he's at the combine, I'm worried because he's going to absolutely light it up. And if that happens, he might not be there at pick 17. All right, this next one's coming in from Devin. What up? Get a pick. Why not draft a wide receiver in the first round? All of our former first-round defensive picks not good, so why not? I think I can say the exact same thing about wide receiver in the first round, can I not? I mean, Henry Ruggs wasn't good this year. Sure, Damon Arnett wasn't good either. But, I mean, tell me the last wide receiver that the Raiders drafted in round one that's been good for the Raiders. I get Amari Cooper had 2 really good years to start off his career, but he's not on the team anymore. I'm looking at need. The biggest need is defense. So you address your need, and then you move on from there. Wide receiver is not the team's biggest need. Let's go to Timothy Mullen. You're next up here on the Raiders Report. Has Ruggs been the worst of the first-round rookie wide receivers? I mean, he was worse than CeeDee Lamb, definitely worse than Jefferson, definitely worse than Jerry Jeudy. I would say Reagor might be the only other guy who was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles, and the reason why that one hurts is because the Eagles took Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. So Brandon Ayuk, I would say, has been better. But, I mean, Ruggs, I hate to say it, doesn't really surprise me that he didn't succeed right away in year one. I didn't really anticipate him to put up in crazy, crazy numbers, but obviously I was a little bit disappointed. But I'm also disappointed in Gruden and the offense and the way that they tried to use him. They did not use him correctly. Hopefully, with a right year around OTAs, training camp, preseason games, you see the best version of Henry Ruggs, which I am still confident he's going to be able to add. He might not ever light up the stat sheet, but he will be able to really help open some things up for the offense. Now, if you guys are looking for more Raiders news and rumors, seriously, subscribe to the show. We are the #1 fastest-growing Raiders channel on YouTube. If you watch this video on Twitter, if you see it on Facebook, come on over to YouTube. YouTube's where we have, I think, a lot more fun personally. And if you are already subscribed, go tell your friends to join the show. The more subscribers we get, the more videos we can do. I don't know if you've noticed, some days we do even more than 1 video a day. Why? Because the subscribers go up, the resources are there, and the more subs we get, we can keep the show for free and give you guys more content. That's what it's all about. All right, we got The Drip. What up, The Drip? What do you think of drafting a guy like Spencer Brown from Northern Iowa to replace Trent Brown? I'll be honest with y'all, I don't know a lot about Spencer Brown. However, I did put a few offensive tackles in terms of who the Raiders could draft in my top 10 picks. So seriously, go check it out. But there's only 2 offensive tackles that I would draft with pick number 17. Let's go to Happy Table. Do you know Trayvon Moehrig? Yes. Safety from TCU. Should the Raiders target him in the draft? Absolutely. I love Moehrig. Moehrig is, I think, the second best safety in this draft. And when you really look at what he's able to do, he can do a lot of things. So he won the award, I believe the Jim Thorpe Award, for best safety in college football. The only other player that I want you guys to go out and look for is Javon Holland, safety from Oregon, who did not play this year, decided to opt it out. But as a freshman and a sophomore, he had 9 interceptions, okay, in both of those years. Or no, combined in those years. Very, very talented player. But between Trayvon and between Javon Holland, those are my top 2 safeties that I hope the Raiders go out and target. Let's go to Derek. What up, Derek? Do you like Jaelan Phillips from Miami? I do, and I know one of the people last week on the show was like, hey, you got to go look up Phillips. You got to go look up Phillips. So I did. I watched more tape. Former 5-star recruit, went to UCLA, never really panned out there. Sat out in 2019 because of an injury. 2020, yes, it was in limited production, but in 9 games had like 45 tackles, 8 sacks, was a great 4-3 defensive end. And you guys know how much I love Gregory Rousseau. I also love Kwity Paye. If the Raiders are looking for a true 4-3 defensive end, I would have it as a guy like Gregory Rousseau, Kwity Paye, and then Jaelan Phillips there at number 3. So who should the Raiders go out and target in 2021 free agency? Go ahead in the comments section and let me know. I'm curious what you guys have to say. Obviously, we get a lot of free agency questions. Obviously, we get a lot of draft questions. But if you want more, hey, go down in the comments. Let me know who the Raiders should target in 2021 free agency. Sergio Sanchez, Super Chat. Why haven't the Raiders cut any players? Be patient. It's going to happen. They have time to be able to do it. If you don't need to rush the process, don't. The Raiders are obviously going to check in to see what other teams do. But I also anticipate once the playoffs are done, once you see other injuries that happen, that's when you'll start to see a lot of these teams make the move. But free agency doesn't start until March 17th. So just be patient. That's all I ask. All right, we got Brian Parado. Sign Yannick Ngakoue. Yannick is definitely a fun player. His 5 straight seasons, over 8 sacks. Another interesting stat here is I believe Gus Bradley was the one that went out and drafted Yannick Ngakoue to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he would be able to fit that 4.3, 23 tackles, 8 sacks this past year, 11 tackles for loss. He's an above average against the rush, above average against the pass. However, I am a believer that the Baltimore Ravens are going to find a way to be able to bring him back. But if you want to go check out my Raiders free agent targets video, Yannick Ngakoue is in that video. I encourage you all to be able to look at it. But it's hard to be able to find a player at age 25 with his type of production for the price that I think you'd be able to get him at. Deren Hernandez. Mitch, what are your thoughts on drafting a linebacker like Micah Parsons, Nick Bolton, and even Dylan Moses, but only if Greg Quiddy and Carlos are taken? Okay, would it be second move? So Micah Parsons, I believe, is going to be gone before 17. For all y'all that don't know this, I'm a big Penn State guy. I grew up in Central Pennsylvania, so I watch a lot of PSU, especially linebacker U. Micah Parsons, though, is a little bit one-dimensional for me, just like Dylan Moses. They're, I would say, old-school type of linebackers, going to get a lot of tackles, but Moses might be a little bit slower, and especially coming off that injury. He definitely had a down year at Alabama. Nick Bolton from Missouri, he's a good linebacker, but if it's not really your big need, I don't see the Raiders investing it. If you want a linebacker, Zaven Collins. He won Defensive Player of the Year from Tulsa, and he might be there at pick 17. If that's the route you're going to go, that's the guy I want. But besides like a traditional linebacker, I don't really see in that being a big need for this Raiders team. So which questions do y'all like more? Let me know in the comments section. Type D for draft, type F for free agency. If you want to see more videos around trades, let me know. DM me on Instagram. I mean, that's the way that I pick a lot of these show ideas is when people hit me up and they let me know, hey, I want to see more draft videos. I want to see more free agency videos. I want to see more trades videos. I don't do this show to talk about players. I do this show for y'all. So when you're sitting there, I don't know, showering on your way to work, dropping a number 2, whenever you're watching the show, I want to know what you're listening for. So let me know which questions do you want to see more of. D for draft, F for free agency. If you want more trades, let me know. Couple more questions here. JD Tube, number 1. Do you think that the Chargers or the Broncos could compete for the second spot in the AFC West with the Raiders? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Raiders have not been able to prove that they're able to finish strong. So until the Raiders prove that they can finish a season strong, you're going to see the Chargers right there with them. You're going to see the Denver Broncos right there with them. I mean, the Broncos didn't have their number 1 receiver, Cortland Sutton, this year. That's a big loss. They also didn't have Von Miller, the best defensive player. That's a big loss. The Chargers, they got Justin Herbert, who just won Rookie of the Year. They had a lot of key injuries as well, but for the Raiders, I mean, do I think that they're the better team? Yes, but we did not finish that much better than the Broncos or the Chargers. So, yes, you got to watch out for them. Let's go to Armando. What up, my man? Cleveland Ferrell, a 2021 second-round pick, and a 2022 first-round pick for Khalil Mack. Wow. Oh, man. I might actually say no to that. And I get the fact that I've already said 2 first-round picks for Khalil Mack, but a second-round pick and Klee, I think Klee is worth I think Klee is at least worth a second-round pick. He's been playing a lot better. He was the Raiders' best defensive end this past season. So I'm actually going to say no to that one. But that's actually a very good offer. Let's go to the original Mestopehes 369. If we do go and get a quarterback, I would get someone like Jimmy Garoppolo or Dak Prescott because Carr has been inconsistent in 8 years with him still no playoffs or Super Bowl. So I hate to be this guy because I always appreciate that people watch my show. You take time out of your day. However, for you to want Jimmy Garoppolo over Derek Carr is idiotic to me. Jimmy Garoppolo, the only reason why he went to a Super Bowl is because of the defense. And for you to say that no playoffs with Carr, I mean, you can't really put that on him. The defense has been historically bad since he's come into the league. And the only year he went to the playoffs, he hurt his back. So, in no disrespect, this is dumb. Dak Prescott, though, I will say this. If Dak's healthy, yes, I think Dak is better and more of an upgrade than Carr, and I would take him, but that's never going to happen. Sorry. Let's go to Norbz Live. How about John Johnson? I like John Johnson a lot. When I made my top 10 list in terms of free agent targets, it was hard keeping John Johnson off. If you want a player that in terms of a free safety might be the best cover safety in the league, John Johnson's up there. What scares me and the reason why he wasn't on my top 10 list is because of injuries. When you look at 2018, probably the best cover safety in the league. 2019, battled a lot of injuries, didn't play that much. 2020, one of the best cover safeties. When he's out there on the field, he's great. But there's a lot of great safeties in free agency, and I'd rather take my chances on a guy who I'm more confident in health-wise than Johnson. But if I can get John Johnson cheaper than Marcus May, cheaper than Marcus Williams, Cheaper than Anthony Harris, Justin Simmons. I get a steal on him? Yeah, absolutely. I would take that deal. Let's go to Yo Poised. Should we sign Shaq Barrett? I like Shaq Barrett a lot. However, I think he's going to covet a bigger deal because he's an edge rusher, but he's built more for a 3-4 type of scheme. It's one of the reasons why I didn't really like the move for Carl Nassib. I thought Carl Nassib was built more for a 3-4 style of defense, and it's why he was a weird fit for the Raiders. Shaq Barrett's a lot better player than Carl Nassib, but I think it would still be a weird fit for this team. So I'm going to say no, save your money on Barrett, and go get yourself a true 4-3 defensive end.